Mr. Braley, you have an amendment?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Without objection, the amendment will be considered as read, and the gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the spirit of bipartisanship rarely seen in the Big 12 Conference, I am pleased to offer an amendment with Mr. Terry of Nebraska. And this amendment will insert on page 122 after line 18 language to provide for loan guarantees to construct renewable fuel pipelines as part of Section 1701 of the Energy Policy Act of 2001. And one of the things we do know is that there is a tremendous demand for biofuels on both coasts, and yet there is a shortage of supply. One of the things that we have learned is that CO2 emissions are reduced by 30% when comparing biofuels transported by pipelines versus rail cars, and 87% when comparing pipelines to trucks. So this very simple amendment will add language to provide for pipelines that carry renewable fuels to be part of the loan guarantee program that it currently exists. And with that, I'll yield back the balance of my time.
Rather than do that, would you yield to me?
I would be happy to yield to you.
Thank you and Mr. Terry for your bipartisan amendment. You want to ensure that the construction of pipeline infrastructure is available for renewable fuels and that they qualify for loan guarantees under Title 17. Yeah, I think you've worked together to develop a straightforward, sensible provision that would update Title 17. I think this amendment supports key goals of this legislation. It would improve America's energy security and create clean energy jobs, and I thank you for it. Encourage members to support it.
Mr. Chairman, do you yield or gentleman yield?
Mr. Braley has the time.
Who has time?
Mr. Braley has the time.
Braley, you yield?
I'd be happy to yield to the ranking member.
I know this is pipelines only for renewable fuels, and I haven't read the whole amendment, but I know we had a debate earlier on the life cycle of biofuels. Is there anything in here that would limit it to biofuels that have a life cycle that limit greenhouse gases?
The change to the bill in the amendment simply amends the definition of renewable fuel to include that of the Clean Air Act and adding to it ethanol and biodiesel.
What does this mean? Any entity.
Gentleman's time has expired. Who seeks recognition? Mr. Barton. 5 minutes.
I won't take 5 minutes. I want to ask one question of counsel. On page 6, line 4, eminent domain authority. When any entity in the carrying out of the project, does that mean a private entity has eminent domain authority?
Please.
On page 6, line 4, it says, line 3 says eminent domain authority, and it says when any entity in the carrying out of a project described in paragraph 1, and then it goes through a long list of things, and it says that they can exercise the right of eminent domain in the District Court of the United States for the district in which such property may be located. So my question is, are we giving the right of government eminent domain to private entities?
I've been informed that the wrong copy, the wrong version of this amendment has been distributed. So if the gentleman would withhold his question, let's see if what your concern is in the actual amendment.
Yeah, well, Mr. Chairman, we've gone from 6 pages to basically 1 page.
Well, that's an improvement.
It's movement in the right direction. So the first one that was handed out is wrong?
That's correct.
All right. Can I suspend just for 30 seconds to read this?
Yes, absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have objections to the clean amendment.
The corrected amendment is before us without objection. That will be the amendment under consideration, and it is a straightforward amendment that Mr. Braley and Mr. Terry had proposed, which I think meets with support from both sides of the aisle. All those in favor of the Braley and Terry amendments say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the amendments agreed to.